You are now listening to Conscientization 101, an online magazine combining reflection, music, and action through independent media.
I think that the only way that we're going to realize freedom, justice, equality, decent living for people is if there's a complete change. Everything has got to be turned around, and that's a revolution. It's a revolution.
The chosen is coming. The door to the kingdom has been opened. The chosen will come among us. The world will lose its mind.
Yeah. Yo. Big CYC. Yeah. Chairman Matt. Yo, guard your grill. I told you before, cause shit is real. Aim for your head, marksman bars, wigs get peeled. You sound like Sykes, but Sykes won't be having it. Cut you with this blade like a fade, you couldn't manage it. You're all counterfeit, ain't fit for shit. Run laps around these whack cats and spit. Smash mo with bottles over your skull. I floss victories, the rap thesaurus with metaphors and similes. I'm a Bruce to the scene, you bring misery. I make them rest in peace, erase their history.
Welcome to another edition of Conscientization 101 podcast. I am senior editor of Conscientization 101, James Stone, and we'll be hosting this episode solo because managing editor Zari Sundiata is out on assignment right now. All right, she out there doing that work. So I just want to let y'all know we have a great show for you today. I mean, oh my goodness. We're going to be taking you from Texas, all right, the Lone Star State, the colonizer state, the state that used to be a part of Mexico, all the way to the UK. That's right, from H-Town to London City. We will be presenting to you today excerpts from a dialogue that took place between us and the prolific and profound hip-hop artist, Cyclonious, the natural disaster. Man, the total dialogue of this whole interview, uncut interview, lasted like just a little under 90 minutes. I mean, man, we were destroying and rebuilding, most definitely. All right, now let me shut up now, because y'all know I have a tendency to ramble. And let's go directly into this interview.
The game ain't the same no more. They like it pop, they don't like it hardcore. I like it when I keep it real, yeah, I'm sure. But I'm nice, I'm raw. The music ain't the fucking same no more. They like it pop, they don't like it hardcore. I like it when I keep it real, yeah, I'm sure. But I'm nice. Hit the outskirts, cause round here I put in work. Overall remarkable verbal expert. The stimulus I oscillate wild and vigorous. The metamorphosis indicating something hideous. I walk the path and beyond my rhymes and beats. Try to compete, get swept off your feet, retreat, unstoppable. Blood I bring more than a pocket full. Drop a few bill a big zoot, then I take a pull. Take him to school, make him sit on a stool with a dunce cap, the rap she spit.
All right, Big CYC, how are you doing today, my brother?
Yes, I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
All right.
The family.
Yes, brother, yes, all right. Your name, let's get into your name for a second. Your name is Cyclonious, the natural disaster, okay? The natural disaster. Yeah. And when that's right. We read that you got your name from your hip-hop persona of being calm but sending out, you know, like them bars to be knocking them fools out. I remember like when we saw you on Africa, you like, I'm for the freedom of my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, I was like, this dude, I was like, shit, I believe this dude. I know what I'm saying? And so we found out, you know, we sounded very telling because we did some more research and you said you emerged to destroy and rebuild this now weak foundation of so-called good music. Now, when we take a listen to like your latest album, Hostile Leadership with Chairman Math, the intro is with Dr. John Henry Clark. And I actually saw that video on YouTube one day. I was doing some dishes, cooking or something. I was like, he said, you ain't got no friends. You want a friend, look in the mirror. You know, that's Dr. Clark, you know. I was like, damn, Cyclone looking the same thing I'm looking at. I said, oh, Lord, you know, so this Pan-African, this across the ocean, across the pond.
Because it's a science.
It's a science, you know what I'm saying? And so one of the key things that Dr. Clark tried to impress upon African people the world over is that we need to regain our sense of nationhood. not just some happy feeling is, oh, I'm black. We can both use the same wave grease and share a wave cap and a do-rag. Ooh, we black, But some serious task of building, developing, and maintaining a Pan-African nation where freedom, is defined by having an economic basis that we can eat from. It's not a feeling. This is a science, so we can take care of our seeds and stuff like that. And given that your name embodies these same principles that Dr. Clark advocated for African people, destroying our oppression to rebuild our nation, how do you use this understanding of African nationhood to operate as an independent artist? I say independent artist. How do you use that, my brother?
Well, the saddest thing with what we're going through right now, we can't turn this thing on and off. It's always going to be here with us, and I'm talking, melanated people. Yeah. So, the system's designed to be against us. So it's not just in the rapping what I'm doing. It's a lifestyle. I have to make it a part of myself. I could, a lot of these people right now in this so-called conscious movement, even so-called conscious rap, you would hear that they'll be trying to rap a certain way, but they're not actually living in that lifestyle. Just what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
That's why, obviously yourself, we're on the same sort of frequency. That's why you're listening to the same things I'm listening to, because we're sharing that same sort of thought. We want the same sort of things, and a lot of people don't want the same sort of things. So I had to, like, for instance, when I first was rapping, my name wasn't Cyclonious. I can't even remember what my actual rap name was a long time ago. Something stupid. I can't remember what it was, but I was rapping with some elders, and they said, "No, we got to change your name. We got to give you something that more adopts to you." So one guy, his name's Flair. He said that my name's Cyclonious. And I said, why? He didn't really have a reason why, but he said that's the name. So I said I ain't gonna take the name until I embody it and I know why I've got the name. So that's when I came up with, after a while, Cyclonious, the natural disaster. Because, cyclones, you can see them coming from afar, but you can't actually really hear them. But when they come, they destroy. You know what I'm saying? And that's my sort of standpoint. Because, I'm going to be here for a short while, then I'll leave, you know what I mean, in the sense of human years. So I'm saying, while I'm here and when I'm gone, I want to have something where my peoples who share the same frequency can home in and say, what this is the scrolls that my man left for us behind.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
And you know what I'm saying, it's just putting the seed in the ground for the up and coming, because we this is not mine, you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, this life in a way it's not even really mine, it's other people's, in the sense that I do what I do, and people before me, and even yourself, what you're doing now is for the people. So everything is people based. So my where I'm coming from myself personally, what I'm trying to get to is I'm on a destroy and rebuild thing, because it's a thing where everything that we've learned, I'm talking, it doesn't matter what, it's all been a lie, in the sense of, like, even food, the foods that we're eating is killing us. Today I just went and did some whole food shopping. You know what I'm saying? Peace to Brother Polite. I was watching him the other day doing all his shopping online, and I'm saying, you know what? Rather than me sitting down and wasting it, and I don't really waste my time anyway, but let me go out there and change the diet and do this and that, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just trying to do that for the people. That's what I'm trying to get at still.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I know I was listening to you one of your lyrics. Are you a vegan? You said, because I'm a vegan, force feed, and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm a vegan at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand about clean up your diet. And vegan is very disciplined. I don't eat no red meat or anything like that, or no fried foods. And I know about the whole food shot and putting a hole up in a brother's pocket. But I know exactly what you mean, man. I do vegan sweets though.
Yes.
I sure do vegan sweets. But
no, but you know what? It's you know what it is in life. It's about what level you are, in the sense of where you want to take yourself. Like,
exactly.
Vegan, you don't have to be a vegan. You know what I'm saying? You just have to know what you're putting in your system and what it's doing. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the reason why I chose to be a vegan is because I want to detox. You know what I'm saying? I want to clean the body out of all the impurities. You know what I'm saying? I want to get rid of the excess fat which is there, and be healthy. Because right now, I don't need to create drama, but right now there's a war going on, so I want to be fit enough so I know that I can do X, Y, Z. Do you know what I'm saying?
MMA, mixed martial arts, we seen the video. We know what you're talking about, because look, man, once your health is gone,
Yeah, you can't do anything.
This is it. This is
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Zara. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just had a follow-up question. In terms of, it's definitely important for us to like get, our health together, because you can't do anything if you're sick. And so, I mean, that's really important. And I wanted to ask a follow-up question too about like how, in terms of like the business aspect, do you operate, you know what I mean, as in terms of like nationhood, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm trying to say the day-to-day, making sure everything is organized, because I think our people have a hard time knowing like practical ways to organize things.
Yeah, and just real quick, I want to add to that, because like when you listening to what you produce, right? And our people are so into consumption. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And when you sit down, when I listen to The Chosen, when I listen to what you put out there with Chevy Map, Dirty Urchin, all in the Main Man Morpheus and stuff like that, it's like this brother sat down.
Right,
no matter what's going on in life, everybody got something going down. We all know somebody done got locked up over here. Some brother done got this and that. But you able to still not get submerged by that reality and constant focus like a nation should.
Right.
Even when you being attacked, because that ain't no drama what you said earlier about this war. This here war. You know what I'm saying? We think it's not.
War.
But how do you operate? You know what I'm saying? Because you a producer. I read somewhere you was a producer, you was rolling with a crew for a minute, and then brothers wasn't so serious, and you said, look, I'm gonna do this thing myself. It sounds kind of like us.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah, that's it.
how do you keep that focus, man? You know what I'm saying? Before just go ahead. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I keep it real. Do you know what really drives me? It's people like you guys and people like Sarnetta, people like Sarah Suit and Seti, and the list goes on, Henry Clark. Because what I do is like, sometimes I feel alone, I feel disheartened, and I feel like, you know what, maybe I need to give this thing up.
Don't do it.
And
don't do that.
No,
of
please.
course not. But I'm saying like, sometimes I feel disheartened, but then when I start to look around, like in the sense of what's going on the planet, I can see that I'm not alone. I can see that the thoughts and feelings that I have, many share it, and that's what it's all about. That's what drives the spirit. That's what makes me continue. That's what drives the music. Because at the end of the day, like I said, what I do, once it comes out of me and it goes on CD and it goes onto the internet, it's not mine no more. That's how I see it. So rather than me going on the mic and talking the same crap what everybody else is talking, or I know that you guys listening right now most probably have children, and you know what I'm saying? They're going to want to let them hear some real hip-hop, but that real hip-hop doesn't necessarily always have to be derogatory or, cursing or just mindless music. So even though, I ain't going to lie, sometimes I'll make one or two tunes where I'll do my own kind of thing, where I might get a bit lyrical with it and not really get on any actual topic per se on the song, but I have to. I don't know why. In my soul, I just have to create something for the family. Like I said, when the little ones are listening, rather than listening to like Nicki Minaj talking about Anaconda, they can listen to Against the Beats. No, real talk. Rather than knowing about how big your butt is, because we know that a lot of
I don't know anything about that song.
I've seen it, man.
People were shaped great. You know what I'm trying to say? But I'm saying, rather than that, how about a history lesson with a nice melody and with lyricism, which anybody can listen to.
And exactly. And the thing about it is, it's kind of like, you're Against the Beast on The Chosen with Dark Matter and Nate. The hook that you put on there, man. I mean, I wake up every day. We right there with you, but sometimes you got to get on. Sometimes you get on Instagram and say, see what these boys doing. They say, if they over there doing it, and they ain't, and we in all of us in the diaspora because we ain't at home. All right, we in this settler colony. You in the original
mother
icebox. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You in the you in the metropole, brother. So I'm saying, I was like, man, that's Britain. What did I mean, Dr. Ben? What, I thought that was just something I was into. But
this is the thing, like for instance, man, we're from the same family. Whether we like to admit it or not. So
I admit it. Shit, I claim
it's
it.
like like they say, our DNA holds memory.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we're connected through our DNA, whether we like it or not. So
That's
the
right.
things that the frequency that I'm tapped into, obviously some people out there are going to be tapped into, and that's the beautiful thing about this planet. And one good thing you would have to say about the internet, it's just made the world even smaller.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
we can reach out to each other and connect differently than we could. You know what I mean? What's
Yes.
it? How long would it take us to get over to America many years ago? Something like 3 months to get
Yeah,
over there.
bro.
Something crazy. But now we can just put that down to hours now. Do you see what I'm saying? So
Boy,
yeah, man, they can't hold it back. You know what I'm
they
saying?
can. It's just like you said, like in Together, man. I think it was Dr. Clark said, or he said, our greatest weakness can also be our greatest strength. We may be divided, but guess what? You know what's going down over there. I can kind of give you a feel of what's over here, and we can pull this together and get the home front back together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like you said, I ain't never understood how I get on a boat as an African, then I turn into a Negro.
Yeah.
I ain't no gremlin.
Oh, an
You know what I'm
African
saying?
American.
Or African American. You know what I'm saying? I ain't eat no chicken after midnight and turn into stripe or nothing like that. So I don't know where they get this from, but I want to move on to the next question. You know, it's like we kind of alluded to it earlier. You know, we was talking about Nicki Minaj, and I just have to say this for the record: like the music, you know, that's coming out of there that we listen to, like. I don't understand when people say there's not no hip hop or whatever.
I don't either.
Man, I can't even keep up, man.
Yeah.
We be trying to keep up.
Y'all are so prolific.
You're very prolific. Yeah, I'm trying. Good God, I mean, there's no good rap. That's because all y'all look at is that mainstream stuff.
Yeah, you looking for approval.
When you looking for approval, but anyway, and that goes back to say when hip hop was at its best in the U.S. You know, it was kind of like a tool that exposed power. And there's still some good artists out there, you know what I'm saying? Can't talk about, you know, my boy Wise Intelligent, boy, he be putting it down. If it can't be black on the track, he can't be anything. All right? It was created by us. You know, its roots is African oral tradition, the griots, even though sometimes the griots serve power. But that's another history lesson that I could go into later. That's another show. Now that the U.S. is an empire on the decline, it provides more opportunities for like co-optation as an attempt to save itself. And so, you know, now they trying to put off in the news that hip hop is no longer that loud jungle bunny music. It ain't gonna last. It's just here for a second. All y'all youngsters with the bump, diddy bump, the bump. And now all of a sudden they need to co-opt it. Now this is American form of expression, just like jazz. I'm like, shit, it's an American. You see how the colonizers always, whatever you produce, they try to take it up his ass. But now you see all these neo-colonial rappers. That's what I call them. Neo-colonial rappers. They got the hand, they a puppet, and the hand's all up in it. All right? And neo-colonial rap, and they slavishly jockeying to serve U.S. imperial power. You know, and it means the music is suffered. It's straight up ass, you know what I'm saying? But like we just said earlier, it's kind of like a form of dialectics, the unity of opposites, just like your namesake say. You got to destroy and rebuild the so-called good music, because it has made us, you know, like take notice of real artists such as yourself that are not located in the U.S. So my question, my question is, what would you say? Would you say this to be a true fact? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, everybody's always so focused on the empire, and brothers such as, you know, and you're listening to music out of the UK, and I must admit, I did start off listening to, I don't even like saying conscious music. It's just real shit. It ain't, that other shit is escaping music. What you say, escape to a reality? Them fools done escape to Pleasure Island talking all this shit they be talking about. But I kind of started on the UK, listening to brothers like, you know, Nate, Rago, Zulu Rebel, and all you boys. So I'm like, man, them boys, what they doing over there? What they drinking in the water? Because they must did something in the icebox over there. They got them letting them know what's down. They conscientized.
Yeah.
They ain't just conscious. They ain't just aware. They taking action. So would you say this has opened up more opportunities and stuff like that for you to get more shine, so to speak, because the music sucks so bad over here?
You know what? To touch on what you said before, you know, history is always best qualified to give us the answers we need for today. So when the reason why I'm saying that is when it comes to anything that black people create, it's always, we do it out of spontaneous, you know, for instance, when we was given slave food, now it's turned to soul food. Everybody wants to eat it today.
Right.
You know, when we created rock and roll out of blues and all that, you know, it's been taken over. Now you got heavy metal. We can go on and on and on and on and on.
No
the Asian
doubt.
teachings from Kemet, it spiraled where the Greeks took peace and everybody took peace, and now everybody's got their own religions or faiths stemming out of Asian Africa. So it's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. Things what we've been doing is nothing new. But that's the problem. What I think we have is we need to stop watching what other people are doing and trying to feed off of us, and we need to concentrate on what we're doing and moving forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's our problem. And I want to go back into what you're saying. I don't think America right now is making a lot of weak music. I think the same. Remember that, you know, we're spread across the whole diaspora, so it's like you're going to hear good music coming from the US still, from France, from the UK, from Brazil, from wherever. But you know what it is? We're focusing on what they want us to focus on. Like, the magnifying glass has been moved from the days of Tupac, Public Enemy, Rakim, and now it's moved on to this new bubblegum so-called trap music. And people are so idiotic, they can't even see that the message is in what the name is. You know what I mean? A name gives you power. So when a music's called trap music, I don't understand how people are not understanding that. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that we need to stop focusing on what these people want us to focus on. Do you know what I'm saying? And we need to be focusing on what we're doing, because everything comes from within. It's the same thing as the music. Everything comes from within. The way the beats that are made, the lyrics that are written down. So channel your own, be your own vessel and channel something yourself. Stop trying to copy or stop trying to fit in what these people say is the greatest thing to be going on right now, because it's not.
Exactly.
It's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I really like what you said. Like, you know, people as a group, as a whole, wherever we may be, we kind of like focusing on what they want us to focus on. And like, you know what I'm saying? You know, over here, it's support the U.S. president no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the blackest thing going on. I don't know how that works, but that's how it's going down.
Although that's waning.
Yeah, I don't really watch TV. I kind of like, so I don't really. I mean, I can just go how I relate to people and stuff like that. But it's kind of interesting that you said that. It's kind of like we're like kind of going to the next question, but just before we get into the next question, it's kind of interesting you said that, is because when I hear like how, you know, Africans in Britain sometimes, I've read a lot of books, and I don't know if there's really like how they divide us up over there. It's like, well, I'm not really an African, I'm a West Indian, I'm a Black Brit, and all that stuff. That's amazing to me. But also what's amazing, if just by luck of wherever the ship landed, I could have been right maybe over there in East London or something like that, and I could be talking just like you. And it's amazing, like the experiences that you talk about. We have the same experience. It's not, we don't have to mystify it or anything. We the same people, you know what I'm saying? And we try to make it so like we so much different. Well, we ain't really related no more because it didn't. No.
Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is?
What's up, brother?
It all stems from when we was in Africa. We know we've got tribal wars. We don't like each other, different tribes. That's what it all is. You know what I mean? It's because no matter where you go on this planet, Black people are there. I don't care where it is. The only places you ain't really, really going to find us is in those ice cold areas. Yeah. But, you got the people them. I can't remember their name, but I was watching a documentary the other day, and if you haven't seen it, you guys should check it out. You see in Thailand, you see the Black people that live in the forest areas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you go to the Philippines, you got the Negritos. Yeah. I could go on and on and on, but a lot of people. The reason why we make these factions is because, again, we're under. We have a kind of European mind state at the moment. We're not thinking with the minds that we had before we came on those boats. So that's why we're trying to create. I'm not African. I'm West Indies. You got dropped off in the West Indies. You know what I mean? I'm not. I've got Indian in me.
That's the one over here.
Bruv, we're trying everything we can to not be African. And you know what that is? It's because we don't know about Africa. That's the reason why when I'm rapping more time, I would fit a lot of Africa into my raps, because again, you know, the younger ones are listening. They love the best way to teach children nowadays, and the way they catch things like languages or any form of history or anything is through stories or through music. So in the music, I have to throw Africa in there, because some of these kids, if you tell them the basic things about Africa and all that, they don't know what you're talking about. If you see,
man.
Look at the word Timbuktu, I remember that there was a saying where people would turn it into a term like, oh, why don't you go back to Timbuktu? And at those times when I used to hear that word, I remember I used to just thought it was like a disrespect. You would say that to somebody to be disrespectful. But as I got older and I started to ask questions, and I came across the word again. When I researched it, it was one of the greatest places on the planet where everybody came to study. But this is what I'm saying. If we don't put certain things into context, you know what I mean? We'll lose where we're supposed to be headed, where we're going. You know what I mean? We'll forever be walking zombies. So that's what we are right now. You get me? So,
It's a factor of being ashamed of Africa based on what the lies have been told, and you believe them.
Yes, is it?
I say I love you. I want it to mean more than I love peanut butter or James Bond movies. I want it to mean I'm letting go. For always. That I won't turn back.
Yo, this road is cold, so come walk with me. I wanna know what you see, so come talk with me. Let's ride a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together. The pain runs deep, the love overwhelms. The children of the sun, time travel all realms. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together. Even the paraplegic can rise like the phoenix. Like Nubians who migrated north and ruled Egypt. Like Nama, the first pharaoh, black, no secret. The unification of the lower and upper region. We lost our old ways, now we picked up some new shit. Rather than backtrack and gathering knowledge exclusive, they rather smoke crack in the traps, niggas is toothless. Begging for spare change, the range, straight stupid. One you told me at work that she was nice for a black chick. He's African, I wanted to give this fool a snap kick. Mentally low, culturally flawed and can't grow. See, they don't know the past could pave the future with gold. Chip out the black nose of the statue you relate to. Just break through, mentally, physically can't cage you. The present is a gift, you can make the future shift. Away from the cliff, the truth is potent like token a split, breathe. Yo, this road is cold, so come walk with me. I wanna know what you see, so come talk with me. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together. The pain runs deep, the love overwhelms. The children of the sun, time travel all realms. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together.
This world's in a cyclone, downtrodden with man's ignorance gold. Things we die for collapse and I saw to the soul. We need to bond like the story of old, held together by the chains that imprisoned I scroll. Just like a king, I'm a man on my own. I'm Imhotep, lamping at home. Self-educated, I'm told we need to fix that. To diagnose the problem and sit back is just like it's representative of where we're at. It's time to build like an architect, guarded by steps. My father crept on the path I met. The most astounding, doing God's work where most are found. Sin about this, walking my talk, loving my brown skin and all it stands for from the beginning. Associated with the killing, gang violence, but it was different from the Moors and the high priestess over the shores village. To raise a child, God bless what I envisioned together.
Yo, this road is cold, so come walk with me. I wanna know what you see, so come talk with me. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together. The pain runs deep, the love overwhelms. The children of the sun, time travel all realms. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together.
Divide and conquer, separate and destroy. The slogans of the lives we've lived since the mission was deployed. There's still everything from Africa, they couldn't fight us as a whole. We've been broken into pieces, easier to be controlled. Fake borders on the continent and Caribbean shores. You think an African shipped over waves ain't African no more? Everywhere we're stored, we're manipulated into war. Faith first, faith, a state versus state. Told this is our fate. Make no mistake, it will be if we don't change it. Take our destiny in our hands, forge it, recreate it. Europe dragged us into poverty to drag themselves out of it. Spread us throughout the earth, the diaspora is where our power is. The sun rises slowly out the clouds of new horizons. The future takes shape like a fruit that grows and ripens. Will it be rotten and poisonous or nourishingly sweet and feed our new generations? It's up to us, we hold the key, our unity.
Yo, this road is cold, so come walk with me. I wanna know what you see, so come talk with me. Let's write a scroll that will change the world forever. See the endeavors to bring us all back together. The pain runs deep, the love.
Like I said, I don't know anything about Nicki Minaj. I know what she looks like. I've never heard any of her songs. Actually, I heard one, and that was when I was in the store. But I don't know anything about her because everything that, your music, the artist that James just mentioned, that's what's on my iPod all the time when I'm working out, whatever. And so a lot of times I find myself kind of using the language that y'all use, and it kind of mixes in with how I talk.
Doing the ting now, girl.
Right,
You're doing the ting.
You know what I mean? I'll be like, y'all, and then I'll be like, because, so it really affects you even if you don't know it. You know what I mean? It'll just come out. And so considering, how impressionable music is, just like you said, but, kind of getting more into like how you take this into account when you produce your music. I mean, if you have anything else to say about it, because you kind of touched on it.
Really, like I said in a nutshell, I just do what I do. Well, not even that. Let's talk about you picking up the language and stuff. You got to remember, there was a time when, again, my whole CD collection, is predominantly New York hip hop and West Coast hip hop. So there was a point when I was a kid, I was rapping with an American accent. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'll be picking up all the slang from over there. So it works vice versa. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing what most artists are not looking at. They're not looking at themselves as being teachers or people. Because remember, you could be the new Malcolm X, you could be the new Martin Luther King. It's just over a tempo. That's all it is. Because if you take the beat away, what you're doing is standing up and speaking. So, for me, I take into consideration sometimes that what I say will get picked up and used. It's like if, for instance, today my daughter, I'm working on a new album right now. You guys, it's called Uhuru.
Let me write that down.
And the music on there is great. It's right up the alley for RBG. But on the flip side of it, you've got a lot of there's some few tracks where I just go into lyricism, just doing lyrical skill stuff. And my daughter must have caught one of the lines, and I had to turn off the CD. And I said to myself, see, this is why sometimes I just have to watch what I say. But I said something like, what did I say? Season like go, you get. I can't remember. I said something about you get curried like goat for the greatest of all time. One time. Anyway, it said something about when I said something about listening to your bars. I'd rather cut my own throat. Better yet, cut yours and dump your body in the moat. That's what I said. Something like that. And my daughter just turned around and said to me, "Daddy, why are you going to cut somebody's throat?" And I said, "Wow." Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The younger ones, listen. Again, we have to be mindful of what we say because it's like food, innit? Whatever we put inside us, it internalizes. So if you're going to be listening to nothing but music where you're talking slackness and profanity or whatever, you're going to embody that. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's easy to pick up things and be influenced, but I try to make it the right food for the soul, basically.
Yeah. All media is like that, even TV, because my niece, she was young at the time, and I told her, I said, well, you're black, so you're African. And she said, I'm not African because I'm not a slave. And I was like, where did she pick that up from? You know what I mean? She must have picked that up from television or someplace, because she was like 8 or something. And I was
but you got to remember, that's what they, sorry to cut you, but I'm saying that's what they teach us. If you go to school, and then they stop, they feel happy and want to pat on their back for giving up history, but when they give us the black history, it always starts with you were slaves. You forget all the jargon and every other stuff they put with it. It always starts with slave.
That's true.
They're scared to go beyond that, because when they do, the whole universe crumbles. That's what I'm saying. The system is designed to keep you where you are. They're not gonna give you the water to preserve yourself. They're not gonna give you the right knowledge to preserve yourself. That's what I'm saying. It's a thing where we have to homeschool ourselves and not be. How can you be against the system if you're working so hard within the system?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the masters, the slave masters, not gonna ever let the slave sit at the same table as him and eat.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do holistically is to just basically give the younger ones, or people, not even younger ones, people that are not in the know, the right food to eat, the right knowledge. Sorry to cut you. I just wanted to just get that out.
No, that's true.
That's true. And the thing about it is, man, I try to. I mean, it's always like I always look at kind of like, I'm gonna use this word again, like the dialectics of it. It's like slaves are made; they're not born. That's why I hate when them folks, like you said, you hear slave. They always say, they never say enslaved Africans.
Right.
They say the African slaves. Like, nobody's genetically born a slave. It's a master slave dialectic. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta make you. That's violence. You know what I'm saying? It's so. But
you know what's even funnier? People are not even seeing this. People are so caught up into this fake lifestyle that they're not even seeing that they're still slaves today.
Yes.
That's what I was saying.
They're still a slave today. So no matter what, you can say, oh yeah, African people were slaves, but let's keep it real. Everybody on this planet's been enslaved. You get what I'm saying? Yep. But it's just it's more glamorous and glorious to talk about the African slaves, because we can talk about Europe when the Irish were slaves, when the Indians were slaves. We can talk about all of that, but they need to keep us dumbed down, because remember, Africa feeds the planet.
I was just about, yes. And you want to know what?
That's all I need to say.
Yeah, that's all you need to say. But also, like you said, and we are trained to serve. You know, when you go to school, mom and them say, "Bail, you better do them grades. Go ahead and get you a job. Don't argue with them white folks in school, and go on and get your lesson, and just shut up and do what they say. And then you can be the president of the United States." We never taught to attack the economy and build up our own economy. When you read Walter Rodney, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa, you understand we lost it because they attacked our economy. And once they attack our economy, we can't produce. Look at Africa now. The Berlin Conference. People think them things called African nations is real nations. The European powers set them up, and we sitting up like them borders is real. But we don't know that because we too busy saying, well, I ain't really African. I'm part Indian. I'm Crowfoot Indian out here. You know, everything but it is. But when the cop pull you over, they say, nigga, get out the car.
They sure do.
You know what I'm saying? But we everything but an African.
That's when they want to be black. That's when they want to rally and be black.
Oh my God. Bruh, I'm trying.
You're skipping ahead.
I'm trying to stay focused, but I remember let me just tell you quick. I was on Instagram and I looked at your Instagram thing, and I was brooding because I was tired of seeing people with their hands in the air like they just learned.
Yeah, with no plan.
They just learned how we got dispersed around the world, and they said hands up, don't shoot. And I was just like, damn, for real? Like, seriously? Like, somebody 5 minutes ago said, I went to the army because Obama's my president. I shot some people and killed them because I wanted their shit, right? But then when it come over here, it's, hands up. I'm peaceful. I ain't dissing nobody, but I'm just letting people understand. I know people say, I bust a head, and then next thing you know, I'm hands up.
Listen, like you said, people just want to be fit, nice somewhere on a plantation. They don't want to be in a cotton field. They want to be in master's house. They can't see nothing beyond the plantation and the house. They don't know where they're coming from. So with that being said, that's where they're trying to fit in. That's why they're going to say, put your hands up, don't shoot. Even when you put your hands up,
they will shoot.
So, really and truthfully, it all comes down to, am I going to be that person who rebels and do what nature intends, in the sense that if something attacks you, it's either you run or you fight. Mm-hmm. Yes, if I choose to fight, that's a natural thing for me to do, because I'm going to protect me and mine. So it comes back to, what are you going to do? innit? If those people that want to stand up and say hands up, don't shoot, good luck to you. Because I guess, on real talk, I guess you haven't learned or you haven't sat down and looked. Again, like we said, history.
Yeah.
It's best qualified to give us our answers for today.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you haven't sat down and watched
Malcolm
all this stuff and gone into research, look for documents yourself to see that what happened in St. Louis happened many years ago, same sort of thing. It's nothing new.
No.
Yeah. Freedom comes from the slave. The slave makes himself free.
Haiti.
They ain't make you free. So that's what it all comes down to. So a lot of these guys, whether they like to pretend, putting their dashiki and put their fists up in the air, it all comes to their actions. What is their actions? They still want to be under master's thumb.
That's right.
So let them stay there and do that.
Yeah.
And exactly. And it's kind of like, when I looked at your Instagram, it was finally like you were saying earlier, it was confirmation in the world that I ain't crazy. I know I ain't crazy, goddamn.
No.
But I'm just saying, because you had a picture of like the Panthers and then now, and it was just like, for real, for sure. This is like, I don't know what it is, man. We the only people in the world that look like each other, and we got the same history.
And everybody else, it recognizes us.
They don't make a distinction.
You know what? The rest of the world knows who you are. You know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And they know your history better than you do.
They know who you are. Yeah. They know who you are. That's why. They make it difficult for you.
Yeah.
Because if you was to get that, if you was to sit back on the throne, we're talking about the highest point of our many civilizations, which is Kemet, where we're ruling with the iron fist, Imagine if you take things. Imagine seriously. Imagine if it switched back to that. How would they fit in? On the walls, are you seeing them smiting? They're busting heads of people of different nations to trying to get into Kemet.
That's right.
They're scared of it.
That's right.
Yeah, they want to make programs like The Flash where the white guy's running and it's a fight. But right now, in the time and day that we live in right now, we know that Usain Bolt is the fastest man on the planet. You know what I'm saying? They know. But do we know? No, because we're living in we like Hollywood, innit? We like the magician's wand. We like to be fantasized and given all of this crap, which is fake.
Yeah.
We don't want to do with what's in front of us. That's the problem with with our people. They don't want to deal with reality. That's why I had that CD, Escape to Reality.
Yes.
Because we need to escape from the shit that we're in a fantasy land, right? We need to come back to real shit.
Moving on. So, as far as production, like we said, you're a producer, and from a lot of your music, we've learned about other producers, and we learned about Chairman Math, several of them. But Chairman Math is who you work with a lot, and we saw from an interview you did on YouTube that you never met him face to face, and we kind of talked about that too, about how the world is smaller now, because you have the internet. So it's like you can do a whole album with somebody you've never met.
Yeah.
And so, it seems to be ways for independent artists to do music, without having to go out and sell themselves by doing all the crazy,
Some of them said, I had to say that for gold. Some of them said it's all on that bum. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, they do, and some of them sell their soul in their bum hole for a hamburger.
Yeah,
so,
maybe a hamburger.
Anyway,
some cheese, though.
Yeah, as long as I get some cheese, I'll give you everything. Anyway, so the question is that, since it's not a dearth of talented producers or artists or people, to do collabos with, what is the incentive for people, to go and sign with a major? Like what is it that I know we already kind of touched on people, self-hatred and trying to fit in and all that stuff, but is there anything that you kind of want to like talk, mention that would help people understand why you would need to even do that when you can just go and buy Cubase, you can go and buy Fruity Loops from the doggone store.
You see, I'm glad you brought that because two things. It's what do people want out of life?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you want to be the master of your craft? Like, basically, what I'm trying to get at, we're living in a fast food nation. A lot of people, if they're hungry, they drive to the McDonald's, they get the food right in their lap there and then they eat. Yeah, they're not worried about what they're putting in the system. Like, they're just worried about, I'm hungry, I'm eating. Yeah. back in the day, when you had people like James Brown, Fela Kuti, and those type of people, when them people learned how to play the instruments, there was a band behind that. So that's real music. Nowadays, people can just buy a Cubase, buy this and that, and just do it the quick way. Now, nothing's wrong with that because, things evolve. You know what I'm saying? We have to move with the times. But me personally, I don't want to be signing to a label. And it's not like when you're signing a contract today, it's not like it was 15 years ago.
That's right.
Where they'll just give you an advance for your album sales. That's it. Now they're giving you 360 deals, which means anything you touch, they have a % out of it. If I was called to the States to do a tour, they're getting a percentage of all my show money. No, I'd personally like to have an album that I've made myself at my own sweat and tears, and sell that. And when when the money comes in, it's all mine.
That's right.
Like I'm not trying to. That's what. Basically, I'm not trying to be a new age slave. Even though we all are to an extent, because we are in the system, we're trying to live and get by. But I am not going to do certain things. But you ain't even helped me create, and you're demanding that you're X, Y, and Z. Nah, I'd rather do it independent.
Let me say this. Let me. I have to say this because it's just like you said. I don't want to chase the papes, but if I don't chase the papes, then I might disappear. But at the same time, it's like we were saying earlier, that's why real recognize real, and that's why we listen to you say I'm about the freedom of my people with Nate when y'all was off in Gambia. But I saw that used to be Senegambia, y'all, by the way, colonization. I know about my people now. You ain't gonna tell me I started no plantation. But the thing I like, you like you just said, you walk it like you talk it. And a lot of people, what Ragazulu Rebels say on the revolution, follow the fashion thing. They say this is a follow fashion thing, you know what I'm saying there, brother? And they think it's a follow the fashion thing, and they say, oh, we want to be independent black. Then the majors own all your masters. You got a new master.
This is it.
You got a new master.
That's what I'm saying. You just want to be famous then, I guess. You want people to worship you because you're not...
That's what I'm saying. It comes down to what does the individual want? Because you know what? I'm going to tell you this straight up, You need to be careful of some of these artists that you listen to as well, because I'm privileged in a sense to be in the scene, so I get to see who's who. A lot of people might say one or two things in the track, but when they're off the mic and you really see what they're doing from day to day, they are not about the change that they're trying to depict to you. And sometimes even in the music, I remember I study and watch people's music differently. I can hear that these guys are just talking what they feel that people want to hear nowadays. They're not actually meaning it. So even some of these artists are a bit suspect, but you have to be. This is the way I see it. I don't want to be that person who's going to be talking a lot of stuff and not trying to live it. That's why I'm trying to do the vegan thing, like I said, and try and I like to go to certain lectures and I like to watch a lot of stuff like that and implement it in my music. You know what I'm trying to say? So I can't just be a hypocrite. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, and that comes from just like the way for lack of a better word, like I said, that's come from how man built. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people, they full of shit.
Yeah, they're just not honest.
They're not honest, and when we're kind of like we've been talking about with Dr. Clark. You're not gonna, win points now in an anti-black, colorless society playing like Dr. Clark. You know what I'm saying? Now it's gonna come back around because the truth is always out there. You can talk all this shit and put the perm, burn your head, put the blue contacts in, but the truth is the truth. So it's gonna come back around. You know what I'm not trying to mystify because like you said, I'm not a Christian either, but I'm just saying it's illogical. Right, so the thing about it is, you keep putting Dr. Clark on there. Somebody like me, and when I find it, they gonna latch onto it, and that support. You don't have fans because fan is short for fanatic. You got supporters, and when you got a support,
that's exactly.
When you got a supporter, I can't even tell you what you do when you support somebody because, like you said, real G's move in silence. Okay,
this is it.
Even Goldfish know that shit, but So you want to go to? You got something to add? Cycle? I don't know. I didn't want to cut. I don't know if I cut you off.
No, we can continue. We can continue.
Okay, good. Sorry, you got the next question?
Okay, so this is the one that we were when we were kind of talking about just now. People just wanting to throw up a fist, you know, like on the Against the Beast with you, Nate, and JJ Born to Sing, you say, I had to tell him that was Nipsey Russell. He did not know that.
Man, boy, you come in that track. Oh shit! Every fun the Black Holocaust still being fun. Okay, I'm sorry. Tell me.
No, that's a good song, especially when you want to slap somebody in the face.
By the way, y'all can catch that video on Conscientization 101, where we have plenty of Cyclonious videos up there. And guess what? We are actually saying right now with this interview, we are demonstrating what's a postcode.
Yeah, exactly. But you say revolution ain't coming, revolution is now. And that's absolutely true. That's one of the things that we're trying to get out, you know, get people to understand from on the site, you know, and many people, they have this idealized and this ineffective conception of revolution where you just go out and you stand outside for 5 days and supposedly the ruling class is supposed to care, I guess. You know, and like Asada said in her autobiography, she said, you know, she used to, you know, be the idealized revolutionary, and then she realized that revolution is a science. You know, it's an organized science, just like the fact that you can be in the UK and have a brother say that a sister is cute for a black girl, and the same thing can happen over here in Texas. I mean, it's a science because we have the same oppressor, you know?
Yeah.
And many aspects of what our people need can be organized and built right now. Like you were just saying, we can put our money together, not only in the US, because really we can't even keep it that narrow. We need to expand.
Definitely.
And so, like you say, in peak, you know, it's not being conscious means you're aware. It doesn't mean you would do shit glued to your armchair.
Right. Let me just break. When I heard that, I was like, because you know, a lot of people always say, and I know you know, because real recognize real, like you said, people be like, I'm conscious. I got my dashiki. I'm conscious. I throw my fist up, got my pick. I'm conscious. Oh yeah, right. And then when you be like, damn fool. But are you going to buy this album? Nah, see, y'all just want to make money. See, y'all need to give it. Brother, I done produced this. We got the Chairman Math on this mug, man. We got Morpheus, got Dirty Urge. Why don't you go ahead and, you know, nah, see, y'all. I love it because I always, like you said, as you get older, I always notice when people say, I'm conscious, that just means you're aware. But what action are you going to take? Shit, I get it. You can wake up. That don't mean you're going to do shit, but go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Well, with this in mind, it seems like people, they say they want revolutionary change, but then, like we just said, they just really want a better spot on the plantation. A lot of people seem like they want to just engage in the spectacle and be seen and be like, look at me. But, you know, what do you think about that? Do you have anything to add to that? Because I think we kind of touched it.
Yeah, no, I just think holistically, people, it's just like, you know, like in school days when you had the school, it's like a little society within itself. People would do certain things or, you know, through peer pressure, or they just want to just fit in. I think that's what a lot of people, no one's actually trying to turn around and say, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of this. I want this to happen. No, everybody's scared to actually do those things. And when somebody does do those things, those people that are the trying people and the people that are, you know, the Malcolms, the Marcus Garveys, they motivate other people. This is what I'm saying. Like, we're all in a frequency that some of us can tap into. So when you hear someone like, I'm just trying to pull anywhere, Barashango speaking, it will connect to certain people and it will affect their lives to make them do something, compel them to do something within their own lives. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It all comes down to the individual. Revolution starts in the deep black part of your mind where the unseen, something has to spark within you to make a change. You know, that's why it's you know, revolution won't be televised. It's a thing where it's now time. People have the wrong concept of time. Yeah. Oh, I'm waiting for the Messiah to come.
Yes,
we're always waiting.
Yes.
Oh, we're waiting for black people to come together and to, you know, it don't work like that. No. Everybody's not going to wake up tomorrow with the same mindset, get up, go and smash down Parliament or smash down Washington and take over. It don't go like that. You know how things change? It changes when you decide to change. You become the level and that you want to see in people. If you want to see little things like, oh, you know what, I'm going to stop cursing. Well, stop cursing. Make sure no one curses around. Change. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say you have to be the change to see change. And a lot of people don't want to change because everybody is scared of change.
Yeah, just like you have the people passing, or you know, in our community, we pass around, you know, black people can't do nothing. Well, if you keep saying that, then you're right. We ain't gonna be able to do nothing. You're the problem, you know.
You know what? That's the fact that my mom used to always say to me, first you think it, then you speak it, then you do it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how. So, but again, a lot of these people, what I'm trying to just holistically get at is they're scared of change.
Yeah.
You have to break the mold. If you do not, you will always be stuck in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
These people, why do you think these people have all these billboards and all these things? The mind is a powerful thing, you know.
Oh,
the mind is a very... They put all these things in front of your vision to block and stunt your growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't want you to sit down, meditate, and converse with yourself about how you're going to shape and do things, how you're going to mold yourself into a position. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just you have to sit down with yourself and say, no, I don't want to do this no more. This is what I'm going to do, and then strategize how you're going to get from A to B.
Escape to reality.
But that's the whole tragic point, my friends. What would I do if I could suddenly feel and to know once again that what I feel is real? I could cry, I could smile, I might lay back for a while. Tell me what would I do if I could feel?
Yo, feel this. I can see it in your eyes, you're a coward, boy. You ain't trying to build a nation, you rather destroy. So your arse out for money that doesn't exist. I'm motivated by my ancestors, top of the list. Black Holocaust still being funded and paid for. Every place we reside in is riddled with war. Pimps in the church still asking you for collection. Wearing £1,000 suits, still the youth's got no protection. You still try fitting in this bullshit system. You still hate your own creed and skin that you live in. All you do is follow the leader, ain't nothing sweeter. You're a parasite, cut back the 9mm. Wanna talk Illuminati, but you ain't ready to fight. Can see it in your walk and the bullshit you write. We can see it in the streets, everybody's zombified. If you're awake, put your fist up worldwide and let's ride.
Tell me what I say asleep, dreaming while you sleepwalk in the street. Quick to kill your own, but you stay weak when it comes to rising.
All right, that's our show. This is where we gotta leave it now, but don't fret, because like I said, this interview came in right at under 90 minutes, so we didn't even really scratch the surface, if you can believe that. So if you want to listen to this interview in its entirety, all you have to do is go to conscientization101.com or c101magazine.com and subscribe today. It's that easy. And boom, you'll have immediate access not only to this particular interview with Cyclonious, but to all of C101 interviews, past, present, and future, plus much more. See subscription benefits for full details. And also, remember, most importantly, just like Cyclonious, you will be supporting 100% independent media. Let me tell you a little bit of something about this music that was featured on this episode. We feature music from Cyclonious. That first track was The Chosen. Ooh, I like it. That's a good intro track. The Chosen coming. Maybe that's why I put it as the intro track. Then we got Cyclonious and Chairman Math featuring Phoenix, The Ice Fire, and Apex Zero. That was the track together from the album Hostile Leadership. And from Cyclonious's Escape to Reality, Against the Beast, featuring Cyclonious, Nate, and JJ Born to Sing. We want to thank Cyclonious for taking his time to sit down and have a dialogue with us. And if you want to know more information about Cyclonious, go to www.cyclonious.co.uk. And also stay tuned to our website, because you know we're going to have updates on Big CYC. Also, don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Conscien1. That's CONSC CIEN1, on Facebook at Conscientization 101, and Instagram at C101 Editors. Thank you very much for listening to the show, and remember, subscribe today.
When it comes to rising against the beast,
and to know how it feels to say,